soda. Remy boys that know fast money don't slow. No one can control. Yeah, and I got this soda.
Hey guys, we're gonna be doing Saturday's Frights in here. It is a good Saturday. I'm feeling good, feeling right, and it's really a good day to actually what? I know somebody is not calling me or knocking on my door. Well, not calling me, but knocking on my door at 2 a.m. It's a little weird, but I'm not even gonna answer that. But as I was saying, guys, it is a great day that we are here to actually. What the freak? What? Hello?
Hi, is this Justin?
Yeah, this is he.
We detected a break in your security system.
Yeah, actually, I heard something just break downstairs. I don't know what just happened.
Please don't panic, sir.
I'm not panicking. I'm fine.
You're upstairs, correct?
Yeah, how would you know any of that?
He's upstairs.
What?
Please hold on for a moment.
I don't even know what that was.
Maybe I'm just tweaking.
Hello, Justin.
What? Whoa! Whoa! Hey! What? What the freak? What is this? Hey! Hey! Somebody help me! Hey!
It's good to see you, Justin. How has you been for these last couple of days? Well, been doing pretty good, haven't you? I've been doing pretty good myself. So, you know who I am, still, right? Justin X. Yeah, that's correct. It's been a little while since we've talked and, hung out. Basically seen each other. So, question number 2. I have a little game for you. And the only way you're going to get out of this alive is if you answer the questions. Question number 1. How long has it been since we've seen each other?
A couple, a month or 2. I don't know, like the 2.5 months.
Yeah, slightly, little closely. I mean, I guess it was kind of 2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months. But question number 2. How long do you think it would take for me to end you?
We'll dispose of you.
Whoa, hey, somebody help me! Stop screaming, Justin. Did I mention that, well, I guess I did, but that no one can hear you. No one can hear your screams. no one can hear you cry. It's just me and you. Now, question number 3. What happens now?
I don't know to answer your questions, Justin. What do you mean? I don't know. You tell me. What happens now, bruh? Hey guys, how's it going? Said there's sup guys, how's it going? It's Saturday's Fright and I'm feeling fantastic. Everything's going great, everything's fine, everything's doing really swell. I hope you guys are having a good Saturdays today. I know I am. I'm more happy than usual. It's been crazy lately, hasn't it? If you guys are just feeling, like all this stuff that's been going on in the world is a little bringing you down, don't worry. Let little old me take care of that for you. Let's enjoy. Let's forget about everything. Let's put the phone down. Let's get some snacks. Let's all enjoy ourselves. But before we get into this, if you're new to the channel, if you don't know what Saturday's Fright is by now, then I'm gonna actually break your neck. But I'm just kidding. But if you're new here, then Saturday's Fright is a thing every Saturday where we come together as a little clan on YouTube, as Fox Clan is what I'd like to call us. But we come together, sit down, relax, and watch a compilation of animations, or maybe even a real reaction. I mean, my old videos we kind of did watch Crib TV, stuff like that. But copyright strike, so I don't want to get that. So we kind of watching just animations and stuff like that. So but we kind of just watch these videos and all the time, and they're really fun, and they really seem great. So without further ado, let's get into the video, guys. What we're watching is called basically just compilations of animations that we're gonna react to, and without further ado, what does he usually say? Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it, guys. All right, let's go. Compilation. We're not gonna watch the full thing, mainly because I got some business to take care of. So
this took place in the summer of 2017 in the small town of Alexandria Bay, New York. My parents own a small vacation house there, and we usually go down for a few weeks during the summer break. It was your typical Saturday night. My parents were out partying with friends, and I was chilling out playing video games. I heard a noise from the docking area outside where my dad keeps his yacht. My initial thought was that my parents had come back early. It was around midnight, and that would have been pretty early for my parents since they usually come back around 3 in the morning. I just continued playing my game and paid no attention to the fact that someone could have been trying to steal my dad's boat. In fact, I forgot about it entirely. Around 2 in the morning, I exited the house to have a smoke, and I saw that the doors to the yacht's main cabin were open.
What?
There was no lights on inside. I grabbed a flashlight and boarded the yacht. I didn't turn on any lights because if there was someone on my father's yacht, I wanted the element of surprise.
Ooh.
Now I considered the fact that my mom and dad were doing something that I absolutely did not want to see under any circumstances.
Yeah.
But
That's gotta be the worst situation to be in. The worst thing to just walk on in.
There was someone on my dad's boat who wasn't supposed to be there. I heard footsteps down in the lower levels where the sleeping quarters were. At this point, I'm fired up, and I'm ready to teach some asshole about intruding on someone else's property.
Uh-huh.
I hid behind the wall that
But don't you got a weapon? Like, you need a weapon. Bro.
I peered out just enough to see what was going on. Soon after, I saw the silhouette of a man emerge from the stairwell at the opposite end of the room. Now, I had turned off my flashlight, and the only source of light was the moonlight coming through the long window that rimmed around the cabin. Point being is that it was fairly dark, but my eyes had adjusted. I saw the shadow move in front of the long window. It was a slim figure. Now, me being 6'2", 250 pounds, built like a linebacker,
wow.
I thought I would be able to take this guy on easy. I came from around the corner and yelled, "Hey, fucker!" and lowered my shoulder. I was expecting
Wow.
to knock this guy on his ass, but something strange happened. Now again, it was pretty dark, so I can only speculate, but the intruder somehow was able to jump up and grab onto something hanging from the ceiling. It blew my charge entirely, causing me to hit the wall pretty hard. I flipped onto my back to see the coming towards me with something in his hands. He was seconds away from hitting me or possibly stabbing me,
Bruh.
so I had to think fast. I raised my right leg and landed a kick to the stomach. The intruder grunted and stumbled backwards, dropping whatever he was holding. As soon as I stood back up, I saw the figure dart out of the open doors. A loud splash followed shortly after. The intruder had disappeared into the water below.
He dropped into the
When I
water.
turned on the lights,
Well, good thing on
there
his
was a
part, I
scraped
just hurt my
knife
knuckle.
laying on the
Ow,
floor of the cabin.
dude.
I called the police who came out and investigated, but aside from the knife, they found no traces of the intruder anywhere. I gave my statement and filed a report. My folks came home at a record-breaking 6 a.m., and I decided that I would fill them in on what happened when they woke up. They were in no shape to process this information when they came home, if you know what I mean. Please
I
take care
guess
to make
so.
sure that everything is locked up tight before you go to bed. You never know when some lunatic may be out looking for a place to crash or to steal something of yours. And also keep in mind that some don't mind confrontation.
That's why you always gotta have a weapon on deck, bro.
This upcoming Halloween will be my 40th birthday, and even after nearly 25 years, the terrifying memory of that night has never faded. You see, I lost my virginity in a pumpkin patch on Halloween.
You lost what? My boy. I would say I feel happy for you that you got it with a girl, but the way you said that sounded something completely out of pocket, bro.
No, cliche. Specifically, I lost it in the bed of a pickup truck while it was parked in the pumpkin patch. To give you an idea, the patch was maybe 80 by 100 feet and fenced off by wire mesh to prevent cows from getting in. My house was just across the street from the pumpkin patch. We shared a bottle of wine, awkwardly talked for a while, and then got to business.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Border collies. And as we were changing positions,
Bruh,
the dogs
get out of
wandered
here.
in and started barking at us. My date and I paused and drunkenly, playfully, began throwing scraps of food out into the pumpkins for them to chase. After a couple of minutes of that, we continued where we left off.
Bruh, get out of
After we
here.
were done, we sat there in the truck and looked up at the stars, while the dogs wandered around sniffing random things. After a short while, I saw my father return home, pulling into the driveway across the street. The dogs bounded out of the patch towards him, and me and my date quickly began to dress ourselves.
Bruh, this is ridiculous.
Once we were fully clothed, we just sat on the tailgate and kept talking as we watched my dad pet the dogs and go into the house. It was about then that we heard it. A rustling sound coming from the patch somewhere behind us.
Nah.
We both paused and turned.
Nah.
At this point, there was only moonlight to illuminate our surroundings, but it was enough. And this is exactly what we saw. A single pumpkin began to rise up out of the patch, but not like someone was lifting it. It was kind of sideways, like it had been resting on its side and was now sitting up. For a split second, I thought someone was rising this pumpkin out of the patch on a stick or a metal bar. But then the stick changed position. It coiled like a snake and then shot straight up, like a man would be if he went from a squatting position to a standing position. I then saw two spindly legs with knee joints protruding from the thing,
What
but no arms.
is that?
There was a buzzing in my ear, and all of a sudden my date screamed.
Bro, shut her up.
We both jumped off the truck,
You just get out of
booked
there.
it out of the patch, and sprinted towards my house. I glanced back once, and I'll swear on whatever you want me to swear on. A tall, skeletal figure was leaning over the truck where we had both been sitting, and I caught a glimpse of two beady red eyes staring back at me.
Bro,
We made it to my
that,
garage and forced our
bruh.
way through the kitchen
Look at
door.
he look crazy.
I began screaming at my dad to get his gun. It wasn't until I saw the blood on the kitchen floor that I realized that my nose had been bleeding. Even more alarming, my date's nose was gushing blood as well. I told my dad that there was someone in the pumpkin patch, and he grabbed his gun and power walked out of the house, the dogs following closely behind him. But they stopped halfway there, refusing to come any closer to the pumpkin patch. When my dad returned, he was livid. He wanted to know what had damaged the fence, and broke the tailgate off my truck, which technically was his truck. I could only shiver in confusion and abject terror. He reported that something had knocked the tailgate right off the truck, and then tore out of the patch from inside, and destroyed a huge section of fence.
Bruh.
I didn't sleep at all that night. I cowered in terror in the living room, with all the lights on. The next day, the police came and examined the scene. The wire fence had been torn out of the ground and dragged a short distance away. My father and the police were convinced that it was a trespasser pulling a Halloween prank. But I never believed that for a moment. I
Dude.
tried to explain that the dogs had been pounding through the patch minutes before the thing had appeared, and neither of them had made a sound to alert us that there was a trespasser nearby. Furthermore, the entry gate to the patch made plenty of noise whenever the wind rattled it. So if someone climbed over it, it would make even more noise, and we had been sitting right by the gate. Another thing that terrified me is the shape of the thing as it stood. Even if it was a trespasser with an elaborate costume, none of that would even begin to explain the tailgate, the destroyed fence, the nosebleeds, and our dogs being too nervous to approach the patch, or the eyes I had caught a glimpse of. My father went to his grave believing that we had been vandalized by trespassers. My date and I concluded later that whatever it was, it hadn't been human or an animal. So no one really takes me seriously. But I've heard that skinwalkers can take the form of anything that best suits their surroundings. Our property wasn't anywhere near a Native American reservation, but I can't think of anything else it could have been. So what do you think it was?
Whoa, my gosh. Why did that scare me a little? Dude, true trucker of animated horror
I've been a
story.
trucker since my mid-20s. I've had many odd experiences on the road. I'm pretty sure that I've come across a couple of UFOs while driving late at night and
Look
encountered
at you
many strange
sound like
travelers at
19.
times.
Dude.
However, the encounter I'm going to share today is by far the most
I'm going to share
terrifying
today.
and strange experience I've ever had.
Why you say it so
This
long
happened
like
on a
that?
country road in the middle of Kansas when I was 37. The year was 2009.
That was the year my
night
sister
started
was
off
born.
like most nights, which consisted of me driving and listening to some music on the radio, usually drinking some coffee to keep myself from getting too tired. As I drove through the night on the empty road, I had noticed that it began to get foggy. This fog eventually became very thick, and I started thinking to myself whether I should pull over for a while, as I could barely see ahead, or keep driving. I thought about it, and decided to continue on. There were 0 other people so far out driving in the middle of the country, so maybe it was safer than I thought. I still took precaution. I was going slowly, just in case an animal or something were to run across the road. As I continued driving, I started to pick up an odor. This odor was the most
Hold on,
foul
guys. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I had to grab my drink. Let's go.
thing I've ever smelled, and it soon filled the inside of my truck. I quickly closed the windows, but that didn't help. This terrible smell was already inside, and I felt as if I was going to vomit. The smell and the fog became overwhelming. I remember thinking to myself, what in the world could be causing such an awful stench? In that same moment, I felt that unpleasant feeling when you know you're about to throw up. I had no choice but to quickly stop the truck and open the door to empty my stomach. When I was finished, I quickly covered my face, as that horrible smell was still in the air. I closed the door and prepared myself to start driving again. That's when I noticed something ahead crossing the road. The figure was unmistakably a man, and this man appeared to be limping. Other than his limping, I also noticed that the man was wearing an old white button shirt and black suspenders. I recall thinking to myself how strange and freaky the situation was, and not knowing what to do. I decided that I was just going to ask if he was okay. And if I should
Is
call
he
him
a zombie?
for help.
Cause like,
Before I was able to drive up
bruh,
to
is
him,
that the T
I
virus?
noticed
Is
that
Umbrella
4
to unleashed it
more
or something? What is
people
this?
came out from the side of the road, all walking in the same direction as the first man I saw. Each of them were walking in that same odd limping gait, all of them wearing outdated farming clothes. What I found even more strange was the fact that they didn't acknowledge the huge truck that was on the other side of the road. I thought to myself, if these people needed help, then surely they would come to me.
Yeah.
However, all of them continued limping across the road, disappearing into the darkness and the fog. I must also remind you we were in the middle of Kansas, so basically the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just then, another figure emerged from the darkness and began to cross the road too. However, this figure was far smaller. I soon realized that this was a child. I got out of my truck, but I did not go up to the kid. Rather, I stared at him as he continued to cross the road. This child was also walking in a weird way, and was wearing that old clothing too. Right when he was about to make it to the other side, I said aloud, "Do any of you need help?" The child stopped, turning his head to face me. My heart sank all the way to my feet as soon as I saw his face. I wasn't looking at the face of an ordinary child.
Oh! He needs some milk!
I cursed under my breath
Bruh.
and stood there in fear. This thing then let out the most awful scream I've ever heard and began to limp towards me.
Bro, get in the
but at a
car.
quicker speed.
Get back in the car. Get back in the
I
car.
quickly got back
Drive.
inside
Hit
the
him.
truck
I don't care
and
what you do.
slammed
Run
the
him over.
door
Run him
shut.
down. I don't care what you do.
That
Get the
very
freak out of
moment,
there.
I heard
Get out of there.
those horrifying screams and saw more of these things beginning to emerge from the darkness.
Get out of there, bro.
I quickly swerved around the kid, speeding out of there as quick as I could. During that whole ordeal, I saw the faces of the other ones that were coming, and they all had the face of decomposed corpses. Once I made it back to civilization, I stopped at a gas station. I just sat there in my truck. My mind and heart were still racing, and had no idea what to think. This experience opened me up to many things. I feel like I understand that this world is indeed strange, and there might always be things which we do not understand.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, my friend. What?
About 13 years ago, I was a second grader in elementary school. It was when it started getting hotter, just before the summer vacation, and there was no place for kids to play around. Since the PC room and arcade were far from where I lived, my friends often visited my house. Because there was a small river near my apartment complex, a playground, and most of all, there were junk shops around the area. It was not a small shop, but a really large place with a bunch of old cars and electronics piled up. And we used to go into the back door and play when we got tired of playing in the playground. Of course, my mom always scolded me a lot if I got caught by her while playing. Anyway, it was a Friday.
Wow.
It was a holiday for the school anniversary, so I woke up late and went out to meet my friends as usual. But no one was around the street. Jung Ho, who lives the furthest away from my house, was the only one at home. Since his parents went out to work, he was kind of bored being alone, so he came out right away when I called him out. He and I went around finding our friends, but it was in vain. Eventually, we started playing in the playground. But soon we got tired and two of us ended up going to a junk shop. The big junk shop was divided into several sections. Me and my friends used to name the places by section, such as TV, refrigerators, car corners, etc. But that day he wanted to play in the refrigerator section. The refrigerator section was literally filled up with a bunch of refrigerators, so the height was about a second floor. While we were playing hide and seek in the refrigerator without getting caught by the employees, he suddenly called me saying he found something amazing. And there was a huge silver-colored refrigerator the size of a full-size van. I think it was for storage, but it was just a novelty for the kids at that moment. While we were looking around for a long time, he suddenly said he would go inside. Being scared, I stopped him, but he refused to yield, insisting that he would come out in 10 minutes.
This is like Bloody Birthday. That movie called Bloody Birthday.
And he entered inside and
Where the
closed the
kid
door.
gets in the freaking thing or
I didn't
whatever.
want to be caught playing here and scolded by the employees, so I kept watching, and the sun was going down slowly. Not long after, I heard him asking me to open the door. I felt something strange when he asked me to open, since he'd opened it with his own hands easily until earlier. As soon as I held the handle and tried to open the door, I could notice why he asked me such a weird favor. The door didn't open.
What?
It definitely opened well just a minute ago, but it seemed to have some kind of lock system since it was for business use. Eventually, both of us got scared and began to argue for no reason. Why did you get in there? Wait, I'll get the parents. Hang in there. I didn't expect this, okay? Just come back quickly. I'm in big trouble. Shouting inwardly, I ran back to my home, approached my mom, who was setting up.
They need to approach the workermen, bro.
However, I couldn't speak any words. I used to get in a lot of trouble and even was whipped when I got caught by my mom while playing at a junkyard. So it was really scary to tell her the truth anyway. Should I have to tell them?
Are you serious?
What do I do? I was hesitating to tell them about it for a long time until my dad came back from work, and I saw a chicken pack in his hand. And I think it was since then I completely forgot about my friend while I was eating up the chicken.
You serious?
Saturday morning, I woke up and saw my parents preparing busily to go out. The reason is we're going to the valley with my aunt. Excited, I had no more thoughts about my friend. After arriving at the valley,
How did you
with my family,
forget?
I played in the water, ate delicious food all day long, and finally fell asleep when we were coming back home. Sunday morning, I woke up late, watched TV, and followed my mom to the church at lunch.
That kid's dead, bro.
When I got back home, I was tired as usual, so I fell asleep right away.
You can't go
Finally, it was
3
Monday.
days without food, bro.
I was going to school as usual, and someone was handing out the paper in front of the school gate. It was Jung's mom. Right. Jung Ho.
How did you forget? How? How do you forget? Your friend is locked in a... Bro, how do you forget about that?
I turned around and ran to the junk shop. I felt like it was the first time in my whole life that I ran so fast. Anyway, I headed to the refrigerator corner after I arrived at the junk shop. But the refrigerator was gone. I mean, all the refrigerators in that section disappeared, including the big
No, bro, no. No. He's dead, dude. He's dead. Y'all remember earlier when they had the crane pick up that one refrigerator and it crushed it? Oh my gosh, bro. That is terrible way to go out. Yo.
refrigerator.
He's dead, dude.
I looked for all the area, just in case I came in the wrong way.
They about to find him
But
a
it seemed
scrap.
that all the refrigerators must have been collected. After searching
Look.
for a long time, I eventually gave up and went back to school. Of course, I was scolded by my teacher since the class was already started, but I couldn't stop thinking about him anyway. What should I do? Should I confess the truth? Who should I talk to?
Dude.
To Jung-ho's mom or to my mom? I've been thinking about it all day, and I've come to the conclusion that I'll get in a lot of trouble if I tell. Jung-ho had already disappeared, and there was nothing I could do anymore. In the end, I decided not to tell anybody.
Bruh.
After that, we moved right away to another area, and I started to go to the other middle school. Jung-ho has never been found from what I've heard. I'm now in college. On weekdays, I see Jung-ho's mom still standing in front of the elementary school whenever I pass by that place. And there was a photo of him attached on the sign with the words, "I'm looking for my missing child." So my story ends here. I mean, who else knows whether he was abducted or just thrown away by the employees? I mean, since the refrigerator's already gone, who knows whether he was abducted by a kidnapper or just thrown away by the employees? I'm so
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Guys, I'm gonna completely end it there. That was a big short one. Completely out of pocket. Yo. His friend's dead. His friend's dead. Dude, oh my gosh. This dude couldn't even muster up to say, oh yeah, he's in the fridge. Bruh, that dude just got crushed to death. Dude, that dude is dead. Because where do garbage go when it's not needed anymore? It goes to an infirmity where it's melted down, or it's crushed and it's melted down again. Or it's melted down afterwards. Like, his friend's dead. His friend is very dead. Friend's dead. I mean, how would they not notice that the blood in there, right? Like, dude. But oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, so guys, I hope you guys love those. Those are some pretty good. Okay, this week I gotta give a 10 out of 10. That was a good one. Those were good ones, okay? I love them. They were pretty much good. This had to be one of the most scariest animations video ever. Like that was scarier than the last one. Like, the way that happened to that dude like that. The way he was just, oh man, dude. And then the grandma thingy, and then the yacht thingy, and then the freaking scared the pumpkin, like that was good ones, bro. Those were scary. Those were pretty scary. All right, I won't lie to you. I won't hold you. All right, creepy, scary videos. But I hope you guys love those videos. You guys like, subscribe, and hit. What does he say? Hit that bell. Yeah, hit that bell. And get this right. Peace out, everybody. God bless. Gotta get better at this. Gotta go take care of some stuff.